Hi, Susan. Hi, Dan.
How's it going?
Jeez, look at you, Dan Morales.
I had a beard, a COVID beard.
Susan, I can't hear you. Oh, you're connecting to audio. Dan, you look good, buddy.
Well, thank you, thank you. I'm working on myself.
Good to hear. Good to hear. Hey, Susan, you're muted. You're muted.
Where's Susan?
This is just kind of how. I mean, we just will let
Hi,
it.
Susan.
Hi, Steve and Lolli. Finally, we meet. We know everybody in common. We do the same shows. How is it we've never met?
I didn't know any of that. Richard, thank God for Richard, I guess. Richard really, I guess we'll just sort of hop into it.
We're friends on Facebook. You know, I worked with an Erie attorney for years with the Funny Divas show in Florida.
Oh, okay. Oh.
That's how I knew of you.
Okay, yeah. Are you in Florida, Susan?
No, I'm in Burbank.
Burbank, okay. But you're from Florida, or you live there or something?
Originally from Miami, then I lived out here for 17 years, went back for 16, and came back 8 years ago.
Okay, good. So, and Susan, thank you for bearing with me. Susan has been asking to come on for a while, and I don't usually I have the Dan Moraleses, who I've known for 15 years.
Yeah.
Because it's just, I don't know, I make a confession, I really hate being a fucking talk show host. I hate it. It's not me, it's not my personality, just like Dan Morales was really a punk rocker at heart. People have to find where they belong in the world, but it's serving a purpose for keeping my blood flowing in my mind, I suppose. At any rate, Susan, thank you for waiting so many weeks to come on. And,
oh, sure. Hi, Dan.
Hey, Susan, how you doing?
Nice to virtually meet you.
Yeah, right. All right.
So Dan Morales, let me start with this guy. I've known him a long time. He's truly a big-hearted, good-hearted guy, comedian, turned punk rock frontman for the band Foggy Nation. Are there any other bands, Dan, he's got the shirt. I love that.
It's great.
This is it's sort of like punk rock with the Cheech Marin flair. With the Cheech and Chong sort of. They were musicians, by the way, Dan.
Yeah, let me tell you, Cheech and Chong.
Your audio's fucked up, dude. You're covering the microphone or something.
Okay, how about that?
Okay, that's a little bit better.
It's still bad? Let me see.
It's not great.
Okay.
That's okay. That's what we. Oh, now you're frozen.
Can we start?
Yeah, this is how it goes, Susan.
Oh, okay.
This is the grand thing that you waited to get on.
This is Zoom. You know, it's a whole new world.
It's not Zoom. It's the no idea zone. You're just caught in the no idea zone.
Okay.
Dan, just for a moment, has been caught in the no idea zone. I think he's back. Okay, this is better. Dan, go ahead and talk. Testing 1, 2, 3.
Okay, hello.
Okay, no. Say, give us a little bit of your intro.
My intro, hi, I'm Dan. I'm 58. Live out here in Montebello. I am a punk rocker at heart.
Great, your audio works fine. That was a great intro. So, Dan, I've known for a really long time, and we're also joined by.
Oh my God, the prank, Steve.
Oh, we'll get to that definitely. Susan might yeah, we'll definitely talk about that. That will raise our ratings.
I love you, Steven. Steven, I love you.
I know you do. And the other people that I pranked did not reconcile with me, so
little wimps.
We'll go over our memories of that. That's the same. The place I pranked you is the same church comedy show that I got attacked by Dave Corrado, by the way. That's the same where he attacked me. Anyway, Susan, Yeah, welcome to.
Yes, sir.
So my other guest today is an actress and a comedian who was in a awesome movie, early '80s macabre movie called Eating Raoul.
Mhm.
Also, so welcome,
no way, I
Susan,
love it.
the talented and lovely
Oh,
Susan Saiger.
wow.
Do you remember that movie, Dan? He's a punk rocker. He would.
Con vestido azul. Hablo con vestido, con vestido. Yeah,
Oh, he's
definitely.
singing the theme.
Mary Winehouse, man.
Devil with the blue dress on.
Paul Bartel.
Yeah, Los Lobos did the music.
Yeah, they played that song in Spanish during the.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, oh, that's so sick, man.
That was a
That's
lot
so,
of
dude.
fun.
That's like that could be like one of the first independent movies. You know, Eating Raoul is like way
It is.
independent, dude.
It's
That's really groundbreaking.
It was.
Totally.
It's a cult classic. And actually, 2 years ago, I went to New York City to the American Film Archives down in the Lower Village, and it was a tribute to Paul Bartel. And
I love him.
it was the theater was packed with NYU and Columbia students wanting to know how we did it, because that movie was made for
Right.
$500,000, which is nothing.
Nothing, no.
Nothing. And it went on. I mean, it's a cult classic. I'm a Criterion diva. What?
Wow. Did you get how was your
That's sick.
compensation
That's sick,
for the
right.
movie? How were
Well,
you compensated?
Well, this was back in the day, so we did it on spec, and it's not like a new media waiver, but it was kind of the equivalent of that. And we agreed to work deferred payment, and then when Buck Henry joined the cast, they got enough money to start paying the actors. And
Legendary.
The great Buck Henry,
Right,
So
man.
you got to hang with Buck Henry.
Buck Henry.
Wow.
That's so cool.
I know,
That's
from
so
Saturday
cool.
Night Live,
jealous.
stuff. I was
Yeah,
like,
dude.
He wrote The
The first
Graduate.
skit.
He wrote
He
The
was-
Graduate.
Buck Henry did the
He
first
was
skit.
in and wrote The Graduate. He was in Defending Your Life, one of my favorite comedies.
oh, I love that movie.
Yeah, oh, that's great. Albert Brooks, dude.
Right.
Yes, he's the lawyer who comes in and doesn't want to say anything because he uses so much of his brain.
That's right.
That's Buck Henry. He co-created with Mel Brooks. What was that show? That's a little bit before my time.
I don't know.
Get Smart, right?
Did he?
He co-created that.
Oh, yes. That's sick. Yeah. That's legendary
He
stuff,
was
too.
in.
Very funny.
Buck Henry was one of the writers, and he was also in what a life that guy had. He was in fucking Warren Beatty. Heaven Can Wait. He was the angel who fucks it up.
Right.
Right, yeah.
Great movie.
So what was it like hanging out with Buck Henry? We'll get to our low level Michigas in a minute, but
exactly.
tell
So
me
I want to hear
about,
it too.
I want to hear some Buck Henry.
Yes, I'm a member of the tribe. Woo! It was my first audition, y'all. It was the first audition I ever had for a movie, and I was a waitress at the Comedy Store, and that was my first job in LA. And
1980.
1979, 3 months after the strike, 3 months after.
Wow.
So it was a wild time on Sunset. And
I was 18.
You were 18. I was a little older, but not much. But anyway, it was one of those weird things. I was doing improv with an improv group. We used to open for Robin Williams' group, who was there every Monday and Tuesday night in the main room. And Betty Thomas, she was on Hill Street Blues, and she's a big director. She directed Addams Family and a lot of stuff.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah, she was supposed to play Doris, and at the last minute had to go to San Francisco to shoot exteriors for Hill Street. So they had 3 days to replace her. It's one of those weird stories. And so I was on stage. The AD was in the audience. He went, "That girl." I auditioned the next day, and I got the part.
Wow.
Right.
So and you were hanging out.
That's badass. Remember the glory.
Crazy.
Dan, were you hanging out at the store in the late 70s as a teenager?
Early 80s.
Oh no, I was actually around the Mask. It was on Melrose. It was this punk rock underground
Oh yeah, I remember.
club.
I lived right on Stanley, off of Melrose.
Yeah, exactly, dude. Yeah, and I also was at the Starwood a lot. Quiet Riot with Randy Rhoads was playing a lot there, and the Starwood where you can get an underage beer. Like it was very cool.
So was a pizza place across from Canner's. You could get beer till 4 in the morning.
LA sounds much
no
more
way.
interesting back
Yeah.
then, guys. I got to tell you.
That was so
Sounds
cool.
like a lot more
Before the
fun to be
internet.
here. Say again? Say
Before
again,
the
Dan?
internet, you had to really talk to each other.
Yeah,
Before the
people-
internet, I think some humanity was lost. Yeah.
Oh yeah, people actually came out to see comedians and musicians, and there were lines around the block on Mondays and Tuesday nights, and Sundays we were in Westwood. We were doing the hustle. I remember the first flyer I ever made.
Fun.
I made out a magic marker and had it mimeographed at the copy store. Just like I didn't even,
For sure, yeah, definitely. Or cut and paste. You just cut like the newspaper up and make a flyer.
Yeah.
$5 come
That
out.
crazy. It's a whole new world now. Here I am. I got a microphone. I don't know if you can see it. Maybe I can. Is it in the shot? It's red, you guys. It's red. Oh, there it is.
And that's really the exciting part. Not the reading Raoul stories or Buck Henry. We want to see the red microphone. That's what really, because that's what it's all come down to. It's just a tech, just like a keeping up with the phones is, man. That's what the culture's become.
It has. Keeping up with the phone.
Yeah, sure.
You should bring that shit down.
I do. That's one of my line in my act. That's a line in my act. Keeping up with the phones is.
What's the rating on this show, by the way?
70 people a week.
No, I mean, can you swear, not swear?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. There's nobody watching. Don't worry. I want to make it as great, because we have old Jewish ladies who generally are, I don't know how I accumulated that following, but
I love them.
We want to offend their materialistic Mrs. Nasal sensibilities as violently as possible. We want to offend.
Then we got to go full socialist in this country. Thank you. Anarchy or socialism all the way. I mean,
I want to bother the people.
I want to
bother the people. I want to bother the people who fantasize about buying tickets to see Hamilton.
I already saw.
Well, that would be me, though. I'm sorry.
Good.
I'm a nerd.
I'm right in front of my. Yeah.
I am too. I'm a musical theater nerd.
Oh my God.
I know, it's terrible.
God.
It's
But look, there has to be some part of your punk rock soul that knows that that's like putting counterculture on Madison Avenue. Come on.
Well, I took my kids to New York. The first Broadway show they ever saw was Rock. So, is that a little redemptive, maybe?
You guys, this technology is fucking us up because everybody's trying to talk. You guys were both talking at the same time.
Sorry.
So, Susan, say what you just said, and then Dan, we're gonna cut out parts for Dan because I want to hear what Dan has to say.
Okay. Okay, you want me to answer the question? I took my kids, the first Broadway show they saw was Rock of Ages. So that should redeem me a little bit. Oh,
yeah, dude. I was watching Top Gun as a kid, but I still grew up to know that was fucking Reagan era. Where you're supposed to grow out of that shit and know, you grew up during the 80s and it was a lot of, pro-military, the guys, male erotic stuff in a lot of stuff that was meant to be in the 80s. So Dan, come on, man. I knew you before you were a punk rock frontman. You must want to offend the fragile and delicate sensibilities of the boutique-ass art gallery gift shop people.
No, actually, to be quite honest, I was punk rock a long time ago, but I knew I could never sing like Freddie Mercury or Elton John. And then all of a sudden the Ramones came out. I thought, I could probably do that. And I have never looked back.
You're the sweetest punk rock frontman of all time. You're the anti-Sid Vicious. You know what I mean? I want to hear you. Do you scream? Are you a screamer?
No. I can't sing, so I try to like hit the vowels at least. Like the old kind of theater, like blah 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 blah. Gada bada, like singing your happy birthday voice. I mean, I'm not a screamer, and a lot of bands they want to scream.
Right, but you
I'm put it this way. Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
I'm punk rock by way of National Lampoon magazine. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm a punk rock by the way of like National Lampoon magazine. I want to have a sense of humor about things.
Okay.
But even I mean, how do I put it? There's just a basic capitalist system that's the whole problem of everything. You know, we all know that though. And so we're wringing our hands. What's going on? You know, can we build more playgrounds? Can we, can we get a candidate that represents us? But it's all based on capitalism. It's never going to change. That's what's, the way it works is that a lot of people die so a few can be rich.
Yeah, unless there's a violent revolution, my friend. That's
I wish there would be. Yeah,
I know. Well, we couldn't even revolt when the Democratic Party was fucking us. Stealing our election, nobody really rose up. Lefties are too gentle. We're too gentle.
Sure, yeah.
We're too nice.
But Trump ain't gonna win. You know that, right? Trump is not gonna
win. That's what it is. That's what it is.
Everybody's stoned and they just want to listen to Pink Floyd.
Yeah, Stephen, about being stoned, I don't really think that's fair. Seriously, no. I mean, that's a stereotype. Yeah, I'm gonna go get stoned with a Rick and Morty bubbler, right? Hamilton. I aspire to Hamilton. Okay, Stephen. I'm at Rick and Morty level now. I aspire to be able to be seduced by Hamilton. All right, there it is.
You know what? I had my own perception of you through social media these last few years, and you just completely ruined my. You just completely destroyed my.
I'm like everybody's dad.
My romantic misperception of you as a punk rock revolutionary. You fucking. Broadway musical.
I still am. I make no apologies. I'm just,
he's well-rounded.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well-rounded.
Well, we're all with that. With COVID. Oh my God, who hasn't gained weight during all this?
Oh my God! I
got a. Here, I'll show you real quick. I got a. You see that? I don't know if you can see that.
Yes.
That's an exercise station.
Okay.
Oh, dude. That's sick.
That's helped me a lot. I'm serious.
That's small, dude.
Yeah, it's small. It's small. Is that what you said?
Yeah. I mean, like. Yeah.
I just knocked everything over on my desk. I just knocked all my shit off my desk to show you that. But it's really helped me because I come from naturally fat people. My entire family are fat, out of shape, and overweight. So if I don't have like a gym, we have a gym here in the building, but they fucking shut it down. Only 5 people in the whole building use this fucking thing. Anyway, I don't want to.
LA? Are you in LA now?
Yeah. I'm by the beach. I'm by the ocean.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's
LA's the best.
Dan, you're in where? In Montebello? Where do you live?
Montebello, yeah.
Montebello. Burbank, Montebello, Playa del Rey. We have, oh, hey! Is that Dan Jr.?
No, my other son, Ian.
Ian. Hey, Ian, I've known your dad a long time.
Hey, man.
Are you the Mello Morales?
Yeah, sure.
The whole generation is mellow. I don't know. None of us know how to deal with it.
And Hamilton. First Rick and Morty, and then Disney Plus and Hamilton. Then we'll be.
Rick and Morty is like nails on a chalkboard, brother. I gotta be honest with you. It's like nails on a chalkboard.
See, you're part of the corporate America, man.
No, I just, maybe there's a smooth jazz part to my soul that needs peace.
That's good.
Maybe there is. There's a
there
part
is
of
no
me.
smooth part to my soul. Not at all.
No?
Nah.
I love that, Susan.
I've raised 3 kids. There's no
me too.
part of me, my skin maybe, but that's it.
Well, as long as the skin's smooth, so we got, man, I got a message from some fan who listens to the podcast, or not fan, and they were like, "Can you get younger people on the show?" I was like, I don't know any younger people. Well, to be fair, I don't find younger people that interesting. That's fucked up, but it's true. I really don't.
I raised 2 millennials and a Gen Z, and I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, me too. I have a 30-year-old, a 22-year-old, and a 16-year-old. So.
Does anybody want to weigh in on this? Does anyone want to share any wisdom about why?
I want to say, can I say something? Yeah. Hey, fuck you, young people, man. You can kiss my ass, man. Fuck it. I went through so much shit. You don't even fucking know, motherfucker. If you're under 40, you don't know shit about nothing. So fuck you.
Susan, what would you?
Well, it's hard to top
A
that.
30-year-old. Oh, but what about socialism? What about Karl
Wait, he's
Marx?
still going. I'll wait.
Don't you libtards? Don't you cucks? And fuck all you bitches, man. You haven't seen shit. You're gonna fucking wilt like a fucking flower in the sun when you get older, you fucking punks. Fuck you.
That's going on. That's definitely going on the highlight reel. Susan?
Well, I think it's, I really send it back to two things. Everybody got a trophy, which just fucked up a whole generation of kids who thought that they were winners when they were just
My
participating.
trophy.
And wait a minute, let me finish, Dan. And then, the other thing was we've tried to foster self-esteem, not even knowing, what a dangerous weapon that self-esteem can be, when the world revolves around you, that's how you act. And the other thing that is the television show Married with Children. That was big. I swear to God, I think
Nice. That's a cultural touchstone, dude. Very nice.
It was because in my generation, I grew up with Leave It to Beaver and, Father Knows Best and all that stuff, at a young age. And we never talked back to our parents or anything. That whole show was about the parents are idiots and the kids were the smart ones. And so I think it really, I think it's the anthem for the millennials,
Okay, I think, first of all, that's pre-millennial. That's way pre-millennial. I'm a generation younger than you guys, or maybe a little more. So let me, because I love this, because now this stimulates me, because I get to have some, volley with you guys a little bit. In the 90s, growing up in the 80s as a kid, in the 90s, the 80s was the era of the Reagan bully. If you grew up in the 80s, it was almost fashionable for you to get your ass kicked. In the 90s, it was the era of the corporate feminist. And everything became gentle and more sensitive, even though it was pretense. It wasn't really gentle and more sensitive. It was gentle and more sensitive to the rich people. Yeah. But everybody else had to still fucking fight their way out of places. And here was the big rise in comedy, the thing that changed massively. And I don't just mean stand-up, I mean all humor. Everything started getting animated. So the social commentary all went from Richard Pryor and George Carlin to The Simpsons and The Family Guy and King of the Hill. And not that stuff is bad, by the way. I'm a fan of a lot of that stuff. But a whole generation got their social commentary from the football head on the cartoon baby. And
right.
I don't think people deal well with confrontation, because we were watching violent social experiments of people saying really violent, radical, honest stuff, and then it was the football head on the cartoon baby giving you the violent, radical, honest stuff. And so when I play for younger people, I notice there's an emotional EQ thing where they're afraid of me, a human being, saying things that are, and hey, by the way, I also might not be that good at it. I might not be as good as George Carlin, but let's be fair. It scares the shit out of young people. So I get to put my 2 cents in there too. It goes to Susan, it goes to your thing about coddling though. It also plays into the coddling, wanting everything to be safe and gentle, and so that's my I had 2 UCLA students on, Dan. I don't know if you guys follow the podcast, but 2 UCLA students, because I played Royce Hall last year, and it was a bloodbath.
Really?
Oh my God. One of the students had to come and grab the mic out of my hand and tell everybody everything's going to be okay.
Oh, wow.
And you did your job, huh?
I'm not surprised.
I fucking screamed at them in summer of 2019. I screamed because they weren't laughing at me. I screamed at them. They're going to force Joe Biden on you, motherfuckers. I was way ahead, dude. I knew it was going to happen. Students had me on their podcast. And
that's badass.
So to be fair, the students, I thought enough of me that they invited me onto their podcast, and then I had them on mine. But I got the general distinct feeling that they were, and I brought this up about the animation. That's why I'm bringing it up, because I really believe their formative experience with comedy was South Park and Family Guy. And we were growing up, I was growing up watching the stuff you grew up. I was fascinated with Woody Allen. I was fascinated with George Carlin, Richard Pryor, Peter Sellers.
My parents were big comedy freaks, so I grew up listening to Lenny Bruce and Mort Saul. And you know, people that were really telling it like it was in the 60s.
Right. Mort Saul especially, he had that joke that this lady was in a coma and she wakes up and she says, is Eisenhower still president? And the doctor says, no, he's dead. She goes, oh my God, don't tell me Nixon's president.
I just saw last night, I was really bored and I didn't want to watch porn. I wanted to try not to watch porn. And I put on the Kennedy-Nixon debate from 1960 instead.
Oh yeah.
If you're ever trying to fall asleep, if you ever want to get a good night's sleep and be lulled into a stupor, watch the Kennedy-Nixon debate from 1960. Okay. And it will just, I mean, it was, these guys were so, and you know, Nixon was being so nice about Kennedy. He was bending over backwards to compliment Kennedy in the debate. And now that what we know about Nixon, oh my gosh, he really hated fucking Kennedy. You know, he hated him. So that was all the most phony fucking shit. Anyway.
Right.
No,
that's a good way to keep from watching porn. Just to let you know if you're.
But you know, you take that to comedy now, and I think you do too. But I was working Vegas, you know, regularly a couple of times a year, and when Trump was elected, the first thing the club owner would say is no politics. You know, I mean, when we were, you know, signing on to do, you know, signing the contract, they said no politics because people are walking out. Because who's in Vegas?
Right.
Middle America. That's who's there.
What year? What era was that?
No, recently when Trump became president.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah, nope. And at the clubs in Vegas, because it's all, you know, visitors from other places. They're there to have a good time.
Right,
you know,
right.
the shows are only, see, I just banged my new microphone. The shows are only an hour anyway, because they want them back out at the tables. So no politics. But I'm not really a political comic anyway.
Right.
But I just found that, you know, it was the first time since I'd started that there was any kind of stipulation put on what you could or could not talk about, you know, and it's Trump.
Well, down in Florida, funny that, you know, down in Florida when I was touring down there, which I do once a year, not this year, but usually I do once a year in the South. And one of the promoters I was working with, he said, okay, well, we're going into this. It was a one exit off a freeway place. And he said, you know, this is it's all white. It's going to be all Trump. I wouldn't I wouldn't do any politics or any Trump jokes. And, you know, I opened with my political material. But then again, it wasn't Vegas. There wasn't a big risk. It was some podunk little, and I knew the promoter was a comic and he didn't know shit. So sometimes,
you know, Ruskin, was it?
Who?
Ruskin. Was it in Ruskin?
You know what? I won't say specifically because I don't want to publicly humiliate anybody. But I take like sometimes you just know when someone doesn't know shit, and you know more than they do. And especially he was a Comic-Con type guy. The Comic-Con people, boy, they put on a good show. Like. They look like the guys who work at the fucking Apple store, like they know everything. And this guy didn't know shit, and I knew he didn't know shit. And I'd seen his stand-up, and if I were him, I wouldn't have done any political material if I were him.
Yeah.
And they loved it. They fucking loved it. I mean, I'm not a Trump person, but I was also not a Hillary Clinton person. And I think the majority of the population were in that place in the Venn diagram. So we had more in common, you know, than we thought. But Dan, do you want to go into this? Do you want to talk about this thing that this horrible thing?
No, not really, man. We're having fun.
Okay.
Is that good for you? If you want to talk about it, it's okay.
It's good for me.
Like,
I would
all right,
only
cool.
use it as a defibrillator, or we could talk about it at the end. I don't want Susan to be left out either, because this is
Okay, well, how about a quick synopsis or?
why don't you give the synopsis then?
Oh, okay. It was a dark and stormy night. I was I had just been foreclosed on.
Oh,
We were
no,
in the
really?
car, my whole family. Yeah, Steve Mnuchin took the house, by the way. Thank you,
I
Steve.
didn't know any of this. People, I
Yeah,
didn't know any of this.
we were down and out. I was like losing everything. The cops. It was a Friday night, I believe. I was going to be evicted on Monday. I had to leave on Monday. So we had to get rid of the family pets. My wife had abandoned us, and my kids were just in dissolution. We were the most horrible time of my life. And I got a ride back from a friend of mine. I was doing the show in Hollywood or something like that. Got a ride back, and I got a phone call like, "Wow, who's this?" They said, "Oh, this is I don't the details are I don't remember too much. Oh, this is Artie Lang or somebody that works for Artie Lang. You want to open for Artie Lang and when it comes to the Staples Center?" And I was like, sure, yeah, fuck yeah. I was like, wow, this is like total miracle, you know? I can't believe it. We're down and out. We have no money.
That's bad. I swear I didn't do. Dude, the connection's bad, and I'm wondering if the universe wants to stop you from telling the story, because it's going to not bode well for me.
Right? It's a negative vibe, man.
Yeah, I did something really stupid and immature, and I'm sorry. I love you, dude, and I appreciate that you. The bottom line is you dealt very much like a man with it. You called me, or I called you to apologize, and you said you were just very you dealt with me with a great deal of honor, and I appreciated that, and we've been friends ever since. And
that's nice.
I'm glad to see that you're doing well, and
thank you.
You know, so.
No, I love you, Steve, man. I don't know. A lot of people are like, oh, you know, you're gonna tell Stephen Lolli off? Like, no, I'm not even. You know, that's not me. You know.
Oh, I want to know who wanted to know. Were they other people that I prank called?
Well, it's gonna yeah. Oh yeah. Well, there was only two. Never mind.
That's good though. That's good that they remember that. You know, I prank called a lot of people. Susan. Like, I went through a guy had a list of comics with phone numbers, and I went through and I did goofy voices, but it was cruel. I was like inviting them to like do paid comedy gigs.
Oh.
It was fucked up. And Dan, I had no idea, was on the down and out.
Oh my God.
He got this like gig that he thought was like a godsend, and it was me calling him to fucking fuck with him. And
now, don't you feel like a dick?
Oh, dude, I felt so bad at the time too. You know, I'm amazed that he forgave me. He gave me shit though for years.
Well, he
also give you shit. I mean, we're bros. We're bros. You know, we're not gonna know. We're men.
See,
we're gonna fuck.
Millennials would not reconcile that. We were able to, because we've been through hard shit.
You're right.
Oh, dude, for sure.
You're right.
Yeah.
And, you know, here we go again, you know, I'm going to kind of take us in a little different place. I mean, we're on Zoom comedy, and I don't know about you guys, but in the beginning, I'm like, I'm not doing that. It's not live. It's a da-da-da-da-da. And so I didn't do comedy for like 2 months or 3 months, and I went, oh, well, you better either get on the bus or get left behind. And so I think maybe the transition was a little easier than comics who didn't have camera experience, because I went from being a stage actor to doing film and television, and it's that same kind of, but it's a whole different skill set to keep a Zoom audience, you know, engaged. But there's also not much distraction, and you know, unless your dog's barking or you know, like mine does. But I've learned that you know, it's like I always said with comedy, you know, don't do it because you want to be a star. Don't do it because you think it's going to make you this or make you that. Do it because you want to do it. You know, for the love of. It's like Seinfeld always says, I love jokes, you know, and I do. I love jokes. I love, you know, class clown, all of us, probably the same thing, right? And
yes.
Yeah, and to make it into something that is, you know, other people can hold on to, I just kind of went, you know what, I'm going to go with this, and I'm going to really work at, and I did mics every night, a Zoom mic every single night before Burbank Comedy Festival.
I'm going to do more. I only done a couple. I want to do more.
Just to be sure, you know, I got some recommendations then. Hit me up after.
Yeah, you guys should network with that, really.
Yeah.
Oh,
I've been working with Dat Fan, who I absolutely adore. And he's building a virtual room, and he does these 5-minute mics. And I'm telling you what, if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have been ready to go into the festival like I was, you know, because and everybody else, and you can tell now on these Zoom shows who's taking it seriously, you know, and who's
who's involved, invested in it,
trying to take, you know, because nobody's asking anybody to change your material or who you are. It's just the presentation obviously is different. You know, I can't look at some guy in the front row and go, oh my God, you're so hot. You know what I mean? Because it's just a little box in front of me, you know? So it's just, but it's the process. And if you enjoy the process, then you can make it enjoyable. So.
Yeah.
So that answers my question, what I was going to ask you, which is how many Zoom comedy shows have you done? You've done like a lot now.
Well, now I got Best of the Fest at Burbank Comedy Festival. I made it.
Oh, congratulations! Well, we can add that to your
to my resume. Yeah.
I think Eating Raoul is one, and then Best of the Fest at Burbank Comedy can be 2.
And I've got a web series coming out soon, hopefully. And what's that? You got a check?
This is a LAUSD check, I think, right?
Santa Monica, Malibu, $400 out of the blue. Woo!
For what?
For some hours I had like a retro check.
For what, Dan? I want to get paid.
Well, I'm a teacher's aide for the Santa Monica district.
Oh, that's right. That's why we had to reschedule a few times, because you were dealing with work stuff. Dan, how many Zoom? Have you done any Zoom comedy shows?
I did a live stream with 2 bands, and I did one Zoom comedy show, but it was really in the early stages, and it was not very well organized. But I want to try some more. The bands were fun. The band we set it up, and that was cool.
Okay, so the band, playing live with the band. Wow, that can be done, huh?
Oh yeah. As a matter of fact, Dave Corrado and I are doing a duo right now.
Oh, that's funny as fuck. You and Dave Corrado could be like the West Side Los Angeles Cheech and Chong, dude.
Him and Howard.
The stoner and the drunk.
That's who that dude is. Okay, I know that dude.
Not good. Not good.
Somebody last year gave me the moniker Ganja Granny because I just my son I became a grandmother last year, and
congratulations.
Thank you. It's really cool. You know, I get a whole nother generation to fuck up, and that's really, you know, near and dear to me. No, it's neat. It's what it's all about. It's like, you know, this little being was in my arms, and I was just like, oh wow. I felt generations on my shoulders. You know.
Oh yeah, me too.
Susan, I think generations of people that you've brought into the world is 1, Eating Raoul 2, and Burbank Comedy Festival 3. I think that's where we're gonna go. I'm making my priority list for your credits.
Well, I did work with Sean Connery in the 80s too.
Oh shit, that's definitely. What did you do with him?
Anything he wanted.
Oh man, was he like, there can be only one? Was it like right around the Highlander?
I know I can't do the press.
I did a film called The Presidio. Did you ever see it?
Oh, I love it with Mark Harmon.
I was the deadhead secretary that led him.
Oh, I'm going back. I'm going on fucking Amazon to watch that today. Just to see that.
This was so funny to me because, you know, he walks in the dressing room, you know, and it was like the sun was behind him and he had his arms akimbo, you know, and he's this massive figure. And he walks in the makeup trailer. He looked at me and he goes, "You must be Susan." I was like, "And you must be Sean." You know, I was just like.
That's badass.
Don't let your head leave your shoulders, Susan.
It did. It pretty much did. And I was so glad that I had time to hang out with him before getting on set with him. But here is the coolest thing you'll ever hear about a famous movie star. He stayed on the set for my close-up so I could work with him.
Wow.
Oh, that's
right?
very cool.
How cool.
How cool was that? He didn't want me to work with a understudy, whatever they call him, you know, a body double.
A double.
Stand-in.
He wanted to be there to feed me the lines. And when I met Mark Harmon, he goes, "Oh my God,
Nice.
Susan, this is the only funny scene in the movie. Will you come in my trailer and rehearse with me 200 or 300 times?" I said, "Yes, I'm already there. I'm there with my
It's actually a really, really good movie. Isn't Meg Ryan in that too?
Yeah.
That's a good movie.
Jack Warden, I think, doesn't he play her dad?
Jack
Showcases San Francisco beautifully.
Yeah.
That's a
and
good
you know what's
movie.
interesting about that? That was '89, but it was my first audition. That was, I went to the casting director and they videotaped, and I was picked by a videotape, and it was every kind of person. There were tall, short, fat, thin. They didn't know what they wanted. They had no. But his son, Peter Hyams, who directed it, his son's a deadhead, so I knew that scene. He wrote that scene for his son, and I knew it wasn't going to be cut. So that was one, because I've had that happen too, be in a movie and all excited, and then you show up to the cast and crew screening. It was like, "Oh, Susan, sorry. We had to get 10 minutes off the picture. We took your story out." I was like,
"Oh, boo."
With a date on my arm. "Oh, come see me be funny." And I mean, there's just all kinds of stuff that happens, but whatever.
Well, wow.
I still got my name on the cover of the cassette.
And wow.
I'm not in
I'm going to watch Presidio. That's going to be my Presidio for sure. Are there any other cornerstone things that you've done to share with? Because I didn't really get to look up, Richard didn't send me a bio.
I know I did send you one, but it was like 5 minutes before,
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay, he may have, and I didn't see it. Thanks, Richard. That's our producer, Richard. You should speak up for yourself, Richard, if you did.
Richard's great. No, Richard's great. I have a web series come out. I couldn't talk about it for a long time because the two kids that star in it were Nickelodeon stars from the 90s that so we
they never die. The Nickelodeon people never die. They become rappers and
Danny Tamborelli and Lori Beth Denberg. They were all that, and I don't know. All those
Nickelodeon people. Nickelodeon people are getting promoted on my show. Some fucker from Nickelodeon in the '90s is getting their name said on my fucking show that 13 people watch.
Yeah, the only reason
Lolli.
I'm saying that is it was my favorite, not my favorite role, but it was a role of a lifetime. I played a 60-year-old hooker, and it was so much fun. We shot in Tonopah, Nevada, which is the most haunted town in Death Valley.
No.
Did you see anything? Did you experience anything?
I did. I had a paranormal experience.
Let's hear about that, please.
Okay. It's called the Mizpah Hotel.
Mizpah?
Mizpah was where we shot. It's where the lady in red was murdered. And then there were some kids or something that were murdered. So apparently the kids haunted the 3rd floor and her room's on the 5th floor. So it's got one of those elevators, an old-timey elevator. You just press a button. There's no up, down, this or that, and then the numbers. The elevator had to be 100 years old, I guess. Smoky glass mirrors, wood paneling, maroon carpet, just creepy as could be. So the first time I got on that elevator, I had a really strange feeling about it. But there were other people on with me. I didn't think anything of it. Well, I had to go up for a makeup call on the 4th floor. We were staying at a hostel, like across the parking lot, those of us who weren't, Nickelodeon stars. But it was fine. It was a lot of fun. So I go over to go into makeup. I press the button, the elevator opens. I get on. I pressed 4, which is where makeup was being done. And I don't know why I did this. I just looked up and I went, okay, you don't bother me. I won't mess with you. Okay. It was like I invited it in, right? I invited whatever this energy was onto me by doing that, I think. I don't know. Anyway, cut to the elevator door opens. I knew exactly where the makeup room was. I knocked on the door, blah, blah, blah. Cut to the chase. I'm sitting in the lobby and every floor looks exactly the same. Okay. So the producer had to go back to LA for like 8 hours or something like that. So there was somebody else that was like in charge of everything. So I kept texting going, I'm still waiting outside of makeup. And they kept telling me, that's okay. Everybody knows you're there. So like an hour and a half went by. And meanwhile, the getup I'm wearing is like, you know, people are walking by me going, woohoo, you know, how much do you charge? You know, shit like that. So, I don't know, like an hour and a half went by, and finally the producer texted me and said, hey, have you eaten? I said, no, I didn't even know it was lunch. I'm still sitting out of makeup. And she said, no, you're not. Somebody was just there to get you, and you're not there. I ran out of there so fast.
No way.
I don't know what floor I was on.
Dude, that's a trip. I didn't expect that.
It was. I mean, and there are ways to explain it, you know, how it could have happened, but it was very freaky.
You were on the 13th floor of the Overlook Hotel. That's what you were on. You went into some.
I think I was on the third floor because I started shooting pictures and like playing around with the lighting and stuff and seeing what was what. And apparently, that's the floor that the kids do pranks on.
Wow. Dan, do you have any ghost stories, pal? Real life?
No, I know a prank story though. It's very scary. No, but actually, speaking of movies, and if you're gonna watch movies, you have to watch my movie, where the best part was left on the editing floor. It's called Chillerama, and it's quite probably the worst movie ever made.
Chillerama. I think I'll watch. I think I'll watch that before I watch the Presidio tonight.
Well, actually, it's anthology. It's a horror anthology, and I'm in the segment. I think it's called Zombie Sperm, I believe.
Zombie Sperm. Yeah, I don't want to go through the whole fucking anthology of children.
Yeah, go to 4.
I don't want to subject myself to that. I'll just do Zombie Sperm.
Do that, something to that effect. And I was supposed to get a SAG card because I interacted with Richard Raoul, I think his name is. But then the blood bag blew up early, and I didn't get my SAG card, so I was.
Oh shit!
Actually,
it's expensive now to get your SAG card.
And I had a
better off just being SAG eligible, right?
No, you should get, if you can go union, get in the union. I just did to tell the truth. If I was SAG eligible, they had cast it too fast. I wouldn't have gotten it.
Yeah, but don't if they want you, can't they just pay something and you become SAG? I mean,
they can tag hardly you, and well, that's how you become SAG eligible. But it's just better to. I think that's the first thing I did because I did a year of Woody Allen's Play It Again, Sam. You know the stage
play.
The play, not the movie. With Robert Morse played the
Susan.
lead.
Oh, Robert Morse. He's a big
grandmother.
It was dinner theater. That's how I got my union card.
Oh.
So it was equity. So when I came to LA, you could buy, if you had been working a year on a union contract, you could buy your SAG card because they were, sister union.
They changed those rules, didn't they? They changed those rules.
But I got my SAG card for $300. I had $400 when I moved here. I spent $300 of it to get my.
I love that story. That's like the old 89-year-old man who goes, "We bought this property for $40,000 back in 1927, and now it's worth $4.5 million." I love that.
I'm number like 1,953 in the SAG roster. No, that's not true.
Susan, I'm keeping score here. Grandmother, Eating Raoul, Presidio, Woody Allen's Played Against Sam, Burbank Comedy Festival. I'm telling you, people, this woman, she's done a lot of fucking interesting stuff.
I've had to reinvent myself a lot of times. Let's put it that way.
That's inspirational, man.
I was in a couple movies that I would never bring up or mention. Unless we were talking about credits and horror. I was in a movie, my first movie that got me on IMDb in 2004, I think, when I moved out here. I moved out here in 2001, and by 2004 I did a movie called The Bloodstained Bride. If you want to go and watch The Bloodstained Bride, and then I did another follow-up.
Do you remember who directed it?
It was written by a guy named Brad Paulson, who is a very good friend of mine, and it was directed by Aaron and Tyler Burke. and they're called the Tri-Toads, and it was like not trauma, but it was like a micro budget. They had some distribution with some low level thing, and then they did a follow up called Evil Ever After, and they had a little cinema community of
Oh wow!
And anyway, those were my two. That was what got me my credits.
Well, one of the coolest things that ever happened to me as a mom was I did this a web series called The Doll. It was in 2018, 2 years ago, and I got nominated by LA Web Fest for Best Supporting Actress in a Comedy. And I flew my son in, and I have two daughters. My daughters are adopted from China, both of them. They're the loves of my life. Well, all three of them are. And my kids were my date for the, the red carpet event at Sony for the LA Web Fest. Because I thought, how many times in your life can you do something and you can tell your kid, look, here's something I did that people liked, and because as an older chick, nobody sees you, we're like kind of invisible, But when
come on, you're visible.
No, it's true.
No, it's true. It is true. Old
true.
men didn't have a break, but old women get no breaks. You could find a 90-year-old man, and he would be a lead in a major movie somewhere,
Although there are a lot of dudes that are senior curious, but I can spot those.
Senior curious should be a title for a coffee table book. Pictures of older women naked spread, senior curious. I think you should do that, Susan. You should publish that book. There are people who would buy that book, and they don't want it on digital. They want something they can hold and own.
Right, but I can spot those, like if a 30-year-old guy is interested in having sex with me, he's senior curious. There's no reason for it.
I find the same thing. I find the same as also, but people that are after me they're Senor curious.
Oh God, you one-upped me on that one, Dan. That's hilarious.
I've been waiting to use this somewhere.
Dan the Man Morales. That's why.
That's hilarious.
That's why we have people like that on a show like this, because I don't want to think of the fucking jokes. I have a writer, a brainchild, a think tank. Senor Curious. I think that's going to be the title of this episode.
That's hilarious. I was thinking about. I want to do a half-hour special. I'll probably have to end up producing it myself, but I want to call it Openly Gray.
That's badass.
That's pretty
Definitely,
good.
Man. That's badass.
I had black hair my whole life.
You're great.
Yeah, and I just made a decision a couple years ago. I ain't fooling anybody.
Susan, what are the signals when this is so great, because this is really the stuff we need to unpack here. What are the signals from a young man who's a senior curious? And then I'll get Dan's opinion about what are the signals from a young man who's senior curious. But first, what are the tells? Do they come? Is it
somebody who's hitting on me who's 20 years or so?
Oh, that's it. That's it. There's no like signal. There's no tapping the foot in the rest stop or anything.
I do a joke about, is it okay to do a joke? Because I think you guys will get a kick out of this, about eating Raoul, because it happens to me all the time that I get recognized by a certain demographic, especially before, my hair was still dark. And, the comment was always the same, oh my God, it really is you. When I was 14, I used to jack off to you all the time. I'm like, oh my God, that's the nicest thing anybody's ever said to me.
Yeah, you've been objectified through generations.
Right. Isn't that great? I said, well, how about now?
Pretty great. It's pretty great.
Now, whatever. Yeah, it's no, and for a long time back in the day, people thought I really was some kind of sexual, deviant. And it's true. It's like acting, come on.
It's obvious. Look at you.
Well, you are a little deviant, but that's not your full time.
I was dating a comic at the time that I shot it, and I remember the night before we did my whip scene, because they had to have a cattleman do it, and make it look like I did it, so he could get the rope around this dude's neck. Anyway, I said to the guy who was saying, I go, oh honey, let me tie you up, just Just once. Just I want to see what that feels like. He goes, babe, don't bring your work home from the office.
What a fucking stick in the mud. What a stiff.
Yeah, when he was a stiff. Well, you know, you can take that anyway, can't you?
Listen, I have once, this does not happen often, but once every great while, once every Halley's Comet, a young woman will show interest in sleeping with me. And I always think there's some like deep state plot or there's some ulterior motive to get an organ out of me or rob my house or something. Like there's gotta be some, and it's pretty bad. I bet.
At least nobody wants my organs, or they're too old now. So that's a plus.
Dan,
Yes.
any young women coming on to you in Montebello? Do you any daddy issue girls out there?
I can't tell. I'm kind of dense, but I'll hear this a lot. Stupid old man looking at my ass. Stupid pig. Look at like my tits, like I'm gonna fuck you, eh? Stupid. Take me to Sizzler at least, eh? Stupid pig old man. So I'm not sure if that's a message or encrypted code.
You don't know if they're senior curious.
No, those senior curious ones. It's more like, you know, where's your green card? You know, can you show me your birth certificate?
They do want something. They do want. There's a trade going on here.
Dan, you never get those. Hey, Poppy, how about a? You don't get that?
I don't. I'm like the Mexican. I'm like Up, but the Mexican version. You know, this old grandpa.
He's adorable. And look at him. He's adorable. He's like a cuddly guy. He's totally like. What woman wouldn't feel safe with that guy?
I don't know. I have the worst judgment when it comes to men, so that's why I do better off when I.
You're not the first woman that I've heard say that. That
Right.
is actually, that is one of the most common tropes on social media of women posting, of young attractive women posting status updates that they are not good at choosing a member of the opposite sex. You know,
men are junk. You know, men
the
are
bottom
trash.
line is that you are the choosers and we are the choosees.
Right, but
You know,
women don't believe that. Women don't really believe that. You know, we still think that we have to be asked by the guy. You know, you don't ever ask a boy out, or you never call a man. I mean, that's the stuff I grew up with. So. And, you know, I was married for a long time and engaged about 4 times before that. So, you know, I would like to find some old dude to hang out with, you know, but I don't know. He'd have to bring something to the table, Dan. You know, a laugh would be all right. A laugh. Because I'm a homeowner now, you know, and a lot of men my age have made some really shitty decisions. So
You guys are both single. Why don't you guys meet up for coffee? Look at me. I'm turning into an old Jewish woman right now. This is fucking terrible. Why don't you guys meet up, man?
Dan, you live with your kids still?
Yes.
Yeah, me too. My youngest daughter lives with me. I'm glad she does, because I think I'd be very lonely. You know,
I've been taking care of my father too. He's very sick right now, and he was a near death. So we're just kind of we're in a certain mode. Yeah, but I mean
he's with you.
Yeah. I'm
He's
sorry.
taking care of his parents.
He's staying with you.
Yes.
That's nice.
I mean, marriage. I really messed that up. But the thing is, with me, I always let women walk on me. I never, because I like the intimacy and the lovey-dovey stuff.
You
So I would
didn't
take
set
a lot of verbal.
boundaries.
Yeah, I
You
would
didn't
take a
set
lot of verbal
boundaries.
sketches that lovey-dovey, and then eventually something was sitting up like, God damn it, you know, there's no more napkins, and I'd be a screaming lunatic, you know, because I repressed so much. So I'm going through therapy right now, and there's a lot of relationships that I've damaged with my behavior.
Dan, I'm the exact opposite of you.
Probably be great.
Dan, I'm the exact opposite of you. Any sign of anything fishy, and I show them the door.
Smart.
I'm the exact. I set boundaries, so that's why I'm all alone.
I don't.
So we all have our different, you know, things. But I want to say this right now. We need to do a little social ad for old men in Burbank who are cool, who might dig Susan Saiger, who has a lot to offer.
Yeah.
She's adorable. Look at her. She's adorable. She's not a sex fiend, but she can be.
Maybe.
She can go there.
I'm not dead. I'm not dead.
She's still there, and we need older men in Burbank. If you No Ideas Own audiences know of a geezer in Burbank or in Arcadia, Glendale, Monrovia, Pasadena, in the surrounding areas, even Atwater Village.
I like Montrose too. Montrose is very nice.
Montrose is nice. I did stand up in Montrose. It's nice little town, actually. They got wine bars and shit. Any place that has a fucking wine bar, buy property. So
there's this. I turned this into a joke, but I met this guy. He's a neighbor, a Burbank guy, and he said to me, I've been married, I've been divorced 3 times, shot twice, I've survived a helicopter and a plane crash. So I don't see, what anybody would have that would turn me away. And I go, well, I'm a stand-up comedian. Then I go, hello? Hello?
Oh my gosh! There was a girl, she's a nanny in the neighborhood here. She's from Italy, and she actually hollered across the street to me on my bike, which attractive young women don't do that. And I've seen her, but she's got kids with her. So I said, those aren't your kids? She goes, no, they're not. And we talked, and I got her phone number, and we communicated. And then eventually she asked, this is a girl who flagged me down across the street.
Yeah.
And I told her I was a comedian. And that was I never heard, that was it.
What?
I didn't hear. It was radio silence. Silence. And I live in fucking Playa del Rey. So, you would think the guy who lives in Playa del Rey, they would think he made it.
Yeah. Right. I do. I'll date you.
It's like, no. So we all have, anyway, it's been such a nice time. You guys put me in a good mood.
Oh, good. Dan,
I'm glad you've got your vape. And by the way, Daniel and Mary Morales, that's your parents, right? Dan Senior and Mary. Keep your parents in your good thoughts.
Yes.
For peace and good health.
Thank you. May I say real quick? I'm sorry to interrupt, but I need to say this. Stephen Lolli, out of all my family members and all my very, very close friends, was the one person that offered up a heartfelt prayer to my father when he was near death. And I'm an atheist fool, but we really appreciate that.
That's so nice.
Well, dude, you got it, man. They're still on my list every day. Once in a while I forget and or I get lazy, but yeah. So Daniel and Mary Morales, Daniel Senior and Mary are his parents, and so keep them in your good thoughts. And right now we're gonna wrap up with what everybody's up to. Let's start with
Catholicism.
Yeah, so he's an atheist, but he's a Catholic. So figure that out, people. Whatever. You know what I mean? So Dan, tell us what you're up to first, and then because we know Susan's got a lot to tell us about.
Well, I'm gonna sit in with the band, the live stream on I think it's Saturday. They're live streaming from a local brewery. They're called Queen Tusk. I'm gonna sing an Iggy Pop song, "I Want to Be Your Dog," with them.
Okay.
And usually that evolves into like a little of a jam. So I'm gonna sing that. I'm writing right now. I want to do like something uplifting without guns or stabbings or stuff. Something funny. I used to love the old National Lampoon, like John Hughes and Real from National Lampoon. I'm writing something that's called "Children of the Corn Tortilla," and it's like kind of like a Diary of Anne Frank kind of a thing, but it's like because of the border situation. I have some good ideas. So I'm working on that right now, and I'm working until September 18th. I'm getting checks from the Santa Monica Malibu till September 18th. I got a brand new car gifted to me, so I'm gonna fix it up so I can either Lyft or DoorDash, and I'm looking forward to the future, baby.
Oh my gosh, I love you, dude. Tell us where we can find you on social media, all your social media platforms, so we.
Oh, unless you're a Trumper, because I can do without the death threats, okay? Or to be fair, I got a lot of death threats from Biden people too. So they're so we're loving Bernie Sanders. So anyway, Facebook, Daniel Morales, Instagram, Daniel Morales, Facebook group, Books I've Read, and Dan versus Dan is what I'm gonna try to be getting going into the future.
Okay, cool. And Susan, tell us what you're up to and then give us your social media stuff.
Well, I'm still working on some Zoom shows, trying to, you know, make it happen. I have one tomorrow night at, I've got it right here. It's at 7 p.m. in the West, on the West Coast, 10 p.m. East Coast. The number you text, 323-578-7426 for free tickets.
Oh, give me the number, please,
You
again.
can
and I'll write
watch
down.
comedy from the comfort of your own home. And I'm
May I
doing
get the number again, please? I'm going to write it
the
down.
number is 323-578-7426. Dan, I'll friend you and send it to you on Facebook or Instagram. I'm at Susan Saiger on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. My website's down, idolaugh.com, because I for a while I thought I was going to do comedy weddings, you know, like weddings like roasts, and I did a few.
Fun.
But
Fun.
then everybody and their uncle can, you know, perform a wedding now. So that business went, but I still have the domain name. So I'm hoping to sell it. And then Sunday I'm doing the DatFan 15-minute challenge. Because, you know, in LA, you don't get a chance to do long sets very often. And some of these people haven't done it at all. So he peppers it with people who can, you know, do time. So I'm doing that Sunday at 3 o'clock, same number.
Awesome,
And I don't know what I'm doing after that. It's I'm hoping that the Tonopah 5 will be released soon, where you'll get to see me run down the street of Tonopah in my underwear.
As a 60-year-old hooker.
60-year-old hooker.
On a Nickelodeon show.
No, they were from Nickelodeon.
I want it to be. I'm willing it. I want it to be Nickelodeon.
Okay. Yeah, you can look at it's there's a YouTube channel, I think, for it. The Tonopah 5, Tonopah. Tonopah 5. Yeah. And I'm one of the 5.
Well, we have underground legend Susan Saiger and underground legend Susan Saiger, actress and comedian, and Senor Curious, my own friend, Daniel the Man Morales. And thank you guys for joining me. And this has really been a good episode. I can't wait to you No Idea Zone people. You'd be fucking appreciating the talent that I bring onto this.
Thank you for inviting me, and I'll be happy to come back anytime. And
Likewise.
bring my girls, I'll bring my kids, whatever you want.
When we come back for another season, I think you guys are going to be our, we'll see. But all right, thanks everybody, and until next week.
Thank you, Stephen.
I'm Stephen Lolli,
Bye,
and we're taking off from the No Idea Zone.